Hello, and welcome to the setup and configuration portion of this series where I will teach you about how to review past jobs, duplicate jobs, view the history of jobs, as well as deal with any errors that might arise with your Salesforce configurations. Um, so let's go ahead and get started from the beginning. Once you log into Totango, simply click on Global Settings and then Data Management Customer Data Hub. Once there, find your SFTC connector and go into your recurring jobs. Here you'll be presented with the jobs that you have recurring on a daily basis. If you don't see all your jobs, check your filters to make sure all of them are set to expose all items. And then let's say you want to see the history of a job. You can click on the three dots on the right-hand side and click History. And within this view, you can view every single time this has synchronized with your Salesforce. And don't be worried when it says no records to sync, because this does work on a Delta method where only the changes are synchronized over. And you can review every single time it has synchronized historically. And then you can actually drill into each individual time. You can download the job that was synchronized. You can see the sync status, and if, like, let's say you have a failure message or partial success message, you can click on it here and it will actually display to you what the status message was within this dialog. So that's with regards to seeing the history of these jobs. You can also edit the job. So if you wanted to edit the job, and let's say for the opportunity object, you wanted to add a URL, uh, the uh, the Totango URL as a field to bring over. You can just select it, input it into the object fields. You could also update the query filters if you want to. Click the load preview, and it will present to you. It'll all the other previous settings that you have will carry over, and then you'll see a new entry for this new attribute that you've created, and you can do the mappings with this new attribute to change it to flow to wherever you want to within Totango. Then you can validate your mapping, and you can see a preview of the data that came over, and then you can click this save and sync button. Also, you can change the recurring schedule and things like that. And these two buttons, by the way, sync immediately after saving is basically saying do a complete sync once I hit the save button. And in the enable integration scheduling is to allow for this to run every hour. Now, you could uncheck both if you have additional edits that you wanted to make and come back to it in the future to then edit it yet again and add additional fields or change the query filter or what have you. For right now, I'm just going to go ahead and click Save and Sync, and it will go ahead and process the job for me. The other options that you have here other than edit are a Run Now. This will do a synchronization based on Delta only, so only the changes in Salesforce will come over. A Run Full Sync, which will copy over everything that you want. This downloads the most recent sync into in a CSV, so it will show you exactly what came over. You can duplicate a job so that if you have minor edits that you want to make but slightly change the way that the data is coming in, for example, you want to change the account ID to be ID instead of account.customer key or something like that, you could duplicate the job and have two jobs that have slightly different configuration recorded there. And then you can also disable the scheduling on the job right away. We already went over the history. You can generate a trigger API for the job so that if you wanted to kick the job off based on an API call, you could just click that button and it will generate the curl command that you needed. And don't forget to click insert my API token so that it inserts your correct API token. And also one last thing, which is the delete. Now the delete here, I want to mention that this does not delete data into Tango. This only deletes this job as a whole and any history behind it, so that if, let's say, there's a job that was invalid and you never want to see that job again, you can delete it. For the most part, you don't want to use delete because this is really a living history of the data that you've brought into Totango, and you can always access it and see, oh, well, these are the mappings that I used here. This is what data came over, because you can download the data into a CSV, which makes it really easy to troubleshoot. So again, I would not use delete. So there are a myriad of different messages that the sync status can give you, including partially successful, or successful or failed, and you can drill into it and find out what that message is. Thank you very much for joining the session, and I look forward to sharing some other videos with you.